Hello my friends, I am Golden Anina. Welcome back to my channel for another V5 Washburn Edition update. V5 is coming along beautifully. Recently, I have mainly been playtesting the game. I like to play through all 4 seasons of a sim year before making any changes to my mods list. That way I can catch as many issues as I can. And I am proud to say that so far, there have been few, if any. Since my last update, fall has begun in all of its beauty in Sunset Valley. I finally replaced the criminal hideout with a dog park I built from scratch. And Ella and Hank have been through quite the ordeal together. But we will get to that story later on in this video. It's been very exciting to see Boring Bones lighting mod in a new season. Fall has never looked better. The way all of these mods come together to remaster the game takes my breath away. I had so much fun putting this video together and looking back on all of the beautiful shots I have taken over the past few weeks. I even got some more before and after shots to share with you. Vanilla Sims 3 definitely has its own charm, especially when you max out the graphics and turn on advanced rendering and edge smoothing. But it is still very dated. The Sims 3 came out 15 years ago, and it has been needing an overhaul for quite some time now. Which is where my Washburn Edition mods list comes in. Almost every detail in the game has been updated and improved thanks to our wonderful modding community. I spent months searching every site I could find for mods and then combining them into this beautiful masterpiece of hundreds of compatible mods. And all of this is running on my little 2-year-old Samsung Galaxy laptop. I am so very proud of version 5, and I haven't even finished it yet. It makes me wonder what version 6 will be like. I can only imagine the mods that will be available at that point in time. But for now, I am loving every second of this process, and I cannot wait to finish version 5 and share it with you all. I have gotten such wonderful feedback on version 4 of the Washburn Edition, and I'm very excited to see what you think of version 5. On the last day of summer, Ella and Hank met up for a picnic in this beautiful park. They laughed and ate and enjoyed the great outdoors together. She has gotten to know him better and now knows 7 out of his 10 traits. Hank is charismatic, loves the outdoors, is a schmoozer, has commitment issues, a photographer's eye, is a great kisser, and has a great sense of humor. I mean, come on! It's hard to find a guy with so many great traits. She can't wait to learn the last 3. Ella loves to swim, is adventurous, a sailor, loves the outdoors, is family-oriented, a natural cook, an animal lover, nurturing, has a green thumb, and is an angler. So, as you can see, she and Hank have some very sweet things in common, but they are also different enough to keep things interesting. I love these little pop-ups when Sims have a great date. You and me sitting in a tree. Oh gosh, did I say that out loud? I mean, what a fun date! Don't mind me. Way to play it cool, Hank. Way to play it cool. After coming home on cloud 9, Thinking about her future with Hank, she got a call from a friend. She found out there was a rumor Hank was also seeing someone else. She immediately called up her best friend, Bebe, who came over right away to comfort her. Ella said she couldn't believe how much this hurt, the idea of him being with someone else. Bebe reminded her that it was just a rumor. He might not be seeing someone else. She asked Ella if she had ever told Hank how she felt about him. Ella realized that she hadn't. She was too afraid of triggering his commitment issues, too afraid of losing him to tell him how very much she felt for him. Bebe told Ella she should talk to Hank and confront him about this rumor. And if he was seeing someone else, she had two choices, two paths before her. She could walk away, continue on with her own life, and see where that path leads. Or she could tell him how she feels and let the chips fall where they may. It was up to her, and either way, she would always be here for her. Ella decided to take some time before making her decision. When she woke up the next morning, it was the first thing she thought about. Her brother always talked about those defining moments in a person's life, ones that set you on a path for better or worse. This was one of them. She took Maya on a walk to the new dog park to clear her head, all the while dodging calls and texts from Hank, who was starting to wonder if she was okay. She kept wondering if he had made any commitments to this other woman, wondering if she was the other woman. For a little while, she was able to put him out of her mind and just enjoy her time with Maya, who was loving the dog park. In the end, she decided she couldn't spend the rest of her life wondering what could have been. She would tell him how she feels. Any other choice would mean losing him, and she couldn't live with herself if she didn't fight for him, for herself, and the life she so desperately needed with him. So the next day, she called Hank. He was relieved to hear from her, to know that she was okay, but he knew something was wrong. He could hear it in her voice. He suggested they meet up at this park he had been telling her about. She spent the entire walk there thinking about what she would say to him. And all of it left her mind the moment she saw him. Once she had her wits about her again, she couldn't wait any longer, couldn't pretend everything was okay. She asked him if he was seeing someone else, and to his credit, he was honest. He was seeing someone else, a woman he worked with. Ella was so hurt by this that all of her carefully planned words went out the window. She started yelling at him. "How could you? Didn't you know I was falling in love with you?" He yelled back. "No, I didn't know that. I thought you weren't looking for anything serious." He tried to hold her hands, to talk to her, but it was all too much. She pulled away from him and told him that he needed to figure out what he wanted and to call her when he did. It was only as she was walking away that he realized how much she meant to him. All he wanted to do was talk to her again. She held Maya close and cried when she got home. Two days later, Ella got a call from Hank. He asked if they could get together and talk at the beach, and with knots in her stomach, Ella said yes. She decided on a wardrobe change. She wanted him to know exactly what he might be missing out on. Hank was already there when Ella arrived. It was really good to see him again. As he looked into her eyes, it all came pouring out of him. His lonely childhood, his parents' nightmare of a marriage, how they died right after he left for college, leaving him all alone. He was an only child from a long line of only children. He had no one, no aunts or uncles, siblings, cousins, and every relationship he had ever been in was a complete disaster. He had lived his whole life avoiding attachments. In his experience, letting someone in was just an excuse for them to hurt him, and vice versa. She listened, offering words of comfort where she could. Ella comes from a big family. She has a big brother who has always had her back, a sister-in-law, a niece, 3 nephews, and 2 great-nieces. Although her parents passed away when she was a teenager, leaving her brother to raise her, she never once felt unloved. She couldn't imagine a world where she was all alone. She couldn't imagine growing up as Hank did. She told Hank that maybe this time things would turn out differently. Maybe they could make it work. She promised him that if he fought for her, she would fight for him. Hank told her something that he only realized as he watched her walk away from him, that the idea of losing her was more terrifying and painful than the inevitable messy end they were probably heading for. She asked him if he would end things with the other woman. He told her that he already had, that he was terrified, but he wanted to try and build something with her that could last. And with that, their relationship began. They have quite a road ahead of them, a lot to figure out, a lot of healing to do. Hank realized this was the happiest he's been in, he doesn't remember the last time he was this happy. She asked him if he wanted to come back to her place. He definitely did. They slow danced in her living room, which neither one of them was very good at. Just another thing in their budding relationship that they would have to work on together. Being there, holding Ella in his arms, stepping on her toes and laughing, it was the first time in his life he had ever felt at home. He realized on a new level that he didn't ever want to lose this. He knew he was going to have to grow, to become a better man to be worthy of her. But he also knew that she was worth it. She asked him to spend the night, and he agreed. And while this was not the first time they shared a bed, it was the first time they fell asleep together. In fact, it was the first time Hank had slept next to anyone in a very long time. It was the best night's sleep of his entire life. So far. Thank you so much for joining me. Hank and Ella sent me on an emotional roller coaster. I love their story. I love them together. I can't wait to learn those last 3 traits and see where their romance leads. I am going to play through the rest of fall, and then once I finish winter and spring, I am going to reorganize my mods list and add in even more mods. I am planning on finishing up Ella and Maya's home and uploading it for all of you to enjoy. I also have several other builds I will be uploading as well at some point. I want to set up my Mod The Sims page so it will all be in one place. My next secondary video has been voted on by my Patreon community, and it is, drumroll please, how to build raised garden beds. I will be working on that video just as soon as I release this one. Would you like to vote on my next secondary video? Join me on my Patreon. Subscriptions start at just $3 a month. For my free members, I post updates and photos of the game. My paid subscribers have access to video clips and even more photos from the Washburn Edition, as well as having the power to vote on my next video. I would love to know what you thought of this video and the Washburn Edition. Leave me a comment. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to get notifications. Until next time!